A sharp swing among Latino voters toward Mr. Trump was critical to the now president-elect's win. And the number one issue driving that shift, the economy, according to exit polls. NBC's David Noreiga spoke with a family in battleground Nevada about why Latino voters shifted so significantly toward Mr. Trump and why his victory is giving them hope for a better future.
No, not right now.
Mario and Mireya Alvarez found the American dream in Las Vegas.
Would you like some coffee?
They came to the U.S. from Mexico and Guatemala in the 80s. With his job in a supermarket and her job in a casino, they bought a house and raised 3 children. Now they wonder if their kids and grandkids will inherit that dream.
Is it still possible to do that for the younger generation?
That's my main concern right now. What's going to happen to our new generation? Nowadays, they're not even able to move out of their houses anymore because everything is so expensive.
Life wasn't expensive as it is right now.
We first met Mario back in February when he was seriously considering a vote for Donald Trump. He was undecided with previous votes for George W. Bush, Obama, Hillary Clinton, and Biden. At the last minute, he broke for Kamala Harris. But today, he's not upset about the results.
I'm kind of like more happy than upset. Why? Because Donald Trump is going to help the country with the economy.
The whole household is happy. Mireya and their 29-year-old son, Mario Jr., did vote for Trump.
Initially, I will say I did not agree with him. And then I started seeing that he was not afraid to speak his mind. And I noticed that he was not scared to say what he felt, regardless of what people would say. And I think I respect that about him.
So you liked his kind of brashness, his personality?
Yeah, I would say yes.
They're not alone. Across the country, Donald Trump made huge inroads with Latino voters. According to NBC exit polls, 55% of Latino men nationwide voted for Trump, a 19-point jump from 2020. Among Latina women like Mireya, an 8-point gain. And while Vice President Harris won a slight majority of the Latino vote overall, Trump increased his support 14 points from the last election. The top issue among Latino voters, like it is for the Alvarez family, the economy, with immigration a distant fourth. Mario and Mireya both crossed the border illegally as teenagers, but became citizens under President Ronald Reagan's amnesty. They see themselves as different from migrants crossing the border today.
In what way do you think they're different?
The people that are coming here are the criminals, you know? The ones that did something bad in their country, they're running away from their law.
Despite having close family members who are undocumented,
migrant invasion.
They don't believe they'll end up in Trump's crosshairs.
When you hear Trump promise mass deportations, do you worry about them?
Yes and no, because the ones that I know, they're doing good. They're not breaking any laws.
I believe he's going to start deporting all the bad people.
Trump won over the Alvarez family and many like them. Whether the economy improves and who exactly he chooses to deport may determine if he keeps them.
My family is Latino, and a lot of them are immigrants. But at the end of the day, we're American.
And joining me now from Las Vegas is NBC's David Noreiga. What an extraordinary piece, David, extraordinary interviews, really well done. So let's talk about the fact that the economy is the top motivating factor. It is something that really, quite frankly, cut across all racial, socioeconomic backgrounds. This is the number one issue for voters.
Yeah, Kristen, and a lot of the factors here have been developing for a long time. The cost of housing, for example, is an important one to consider, particularly here in southern Nevada. But the most recent and arguably the most, consequential factor to consider is the pandemic. Las Vegas is a service industry town, right? The way one union official described it to me is this is basically a factory town, and the factories are the hotels and the casinos you see behind me. That sector was hit particularly hard by the pandemic. So the people that I've been talking to in Nevada all year, the last 4 years haven't been good for them. Their workplaces shut down. The price of goods went up. The price of housing was already going up dramatically. The cost of childcare, everything. It was just harder and harder to make ends meet for regular working families. That is a huge driver in what we saw on Tuesday. And like you said, not just with Latinos, but with almost every demographic group.
Just fascinating. And one of the most fascinating parts of your report, David, was when the family said that, yes, they had actually come here illegally during the Reagan administration. Now, of course, they are here legally, and they see this very sharp distinction. Does that sort of match what you are hearing from other Latino members of the community there?
Yeah, Kristen, I've been hearing that all year from sort of swingy Latino voters, Trump-curious Latino voters, if you will, many of whom wound up, pulling the lever for Donald Trump. They'll define it differently, but pretty consistently when you ask, are you worried about mass deportations? What they'll say is that they don't believe it applies to them. Who they think it applies to, again, varies from person to person. The other important thing to consider here, Kristen, is that, a majority of Latinos did vote against Donald Trump. And for every family like the Alvarez family, there are others who are now deeply worried, deeply concerned about what is in store for them and their loved ones with the second Trump administration.
All right. Well, it's a great report. David, thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.